Hey, we want to welcome y'all to the program y'all know and love. It's You Too Near Me Not to Hear Me. Man, this is a special one for me, man. I am so excited to have this brother because this man, he moves and grooves. We've known each other for so long. We're them Hyde Park boys. But this is my guy. He's known me since I was a little thing. It was just a little fella. And for us to kind of grow up and end up in the same region of the country after all's been said and done. Listen, Chicago's finest, Hyde Park's finest, my boy, y'all know him as Rich from Hyde Park. That's my man, Richard Smith. What's up, brother?
What's happening, Danny? What's
Hey,
going on
man,
this
you already
morning?
know. You already know, man. It's funny. We have our formal names, Daniel and Richard. But it's funny, man. A couple of years ago, when we didn't know that we were around the corner each other, being as school administrators. You came over to the school. I was like, I'm calling over. I said, can you get Mr. Richard Smith to come over to the school? His students over here disrupting everything, and I'm standing on the top of the steps. I see the brothers roll up like it's the Malcolm X movie, and all these brothers in suits came out. This brother stepped out the truck and looked up, and I was like, Richie? He was like, Danny? And everybody's people was like, Richie, Danny, who they talking about? And I was like, oh, it's my dude. I was like, if I'd have never known, bro. What's up, man? What's good, man? You welcome to the show, my brother. Welcome to You Too Near Me Not to Hear Me, fam.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a long time coming. I've been ducking and dodging, but you caught me.
Bro, I had to. I had to. You stay on the grind. And it's funny, man. We all kind of got that work ethic, man. But you know where that all kind of starts from? Where did that start from you, for man, for just how you got your grind on, bro?
Man, that had to be generational, man. And just watching my mother and father and then hearing stories about my grandfather and then watching my grandmother come from Arkansas to Chicago, bringing three children, living in a one-bedroom tenement apartment on 47th, going to
Wow.
school at Dunbar High School to become a beautician and move the family up out of that one-bedroom tenement, and just watching people in my family work extremely hard.
Yeah.
And I knew that was the way. No complaining, put your head down and work.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Despite barriers, they're gonna be barriers,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
see that I don't think people realize that, man. It ain't all smiles and giggles. Like it's some obvious barriers, and especially you said on 47th Street, so right on the fringes of what's Hyde Park. And
Black belt, they call it the black belt back then,
okay,
because everybody that came from the South lived in the black belt, which was on 47th Street, small apartments, man. And just remembering my mother talk about it was like, darn, let me know she did better for her children than, growing up, it was one of her goals to do better for her children than she did.
let me ask you this, man. Just in doing that, man, what was special about growing up? We told each other, hey, we're from the South Side of Chicago. True that.
Yeah,
Well, we some Hyde Park boys, man.
yeah,
We just a little different, bro. It ain't, it ain't talking about the wild huntings. We ain't talking about the manor, places
yeah,
like that. We Hyde Park brothers, man.
yeah.
Well,
Man, go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
what was special about that? I know it was special about to me, man, because my people when they came up, my mom and dad came over from Detroit. Shout out to all my family in Detroit, man. They came over, and my father was an immigration officer. Matter of fact, he was the first black immigration officer in Chicago. And my parents settled over into like Jackson Park Highlands, stayed over there off of Paxton. Eventually got a house. They was in one of them three flats. Eventually got a house over 82nd and Blackstone, and that's where I initially had my initial growing up. Shout out to St. Felicitas, all my people over there. And we moved to Hyde Park when I was going from the fourth to the fifth grade. And we moved to Regents Park, right there on the lake, bro. I didn't even realize as a kid that we had a lakefront. I was like, I knew about the museums and all that stuff, but I just didn't realize, oh, we got a lakefront. But to grow up in Hyde Park, bro, and literally my formative years of who I am has really been shaped by that area, that culture, that environment. And I'm so grateful for that because I feel like we got a blessing of a little bit of everything. We got, a mixture in a community with all kinds of races, religions, the whole nine. But we were, bordered by, what I call the real.
Hmm.
63rd, 47th, if we want to go cottage, Cottage Grove, and then the lakefront. We were boxed in. So it's like we had our parameters, but it was insular. That's kind of like, and I'm grateful for that, bro. I didn't even know about, you know, I knew about the Blackstone Rangers because I lived on 82nd and Blackstone, but I didn't know nothing about, El Rookins and GD Folks and Gangster Disciples and, turn your hat left or right. I got introduced to the Huffy Gang, the Huffy Gang, right? So
Yeah,
it was eye opening to me, man. It's like, oh, okay, it's a whole different world.
yeah, man. Hyde Park, it served the purpose that I'm now starting to, well, that I've benefited from as an adult, just in understanding people, mores, and races. Uh, because in Hyde Park it's a melting pot of everybody,
Hmm.
right? Uh, which allowed me to understand that there are good white people, there are good Asian people, there are good Latinx people, and on the other side, just like there's some bad African Americans, they're bad people of those races too. But
Hmm.
in Hyde Park, it seemed like all of these races and all of these youths came together, and man, we kicked it, man. I can remember eating at everybody's house. People come to my house
Hmm.
and eat, and we lived in a co-op, right?
Hmm.
25 stores, and man, we had everything in our co-op. But Dan, you when you talk Hyde Park, you gotta really talk about the educational opportunities in Hyde Park, which was
Okay.
so great. And going to school with diversity,
Hmm.
it wasn't a place where schools were built where all of the intellectual capacity of students were the same. If you
Hmm.
understand what I'm talking about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Break it
You
down, though. Break it down. Break it down.
you might have had, like, G1 was an Asian kid, was a good friend of mine. He was a
Uh-huh.
genius,
I remember
and I
G1.
was in class with him, right? He wasn't separated into another class.
Uh-huh.
Now, G1 was smart. I was smart too. But G1 had that to him. Like, I would test the basic skills. That mug would, hey man, he wouldn't get nothing wrong, right?
Right. Off the charts.
Yeah, so we went to all of us were smart kids, but it prepared me uh, for high school at Kenwood. Um, at King High School, I was prepared when I transferred to King High School, and ultimately when I accepted my first scholarship at the University of Nebraska, just the molding and the living in Hyde Park prepared me to deal with everybody.
Hmm.
Now, I didn't get it twisted. I still understood that in certain circles, people try to put a subservient role on you because you look a certain way and your skin
Oh,
color is
bro.
certain
Come on, man.
a certain color.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
was well trained in that from Dr. Richard C. Smith, my father.
Your pops.
Yeah, and how to deal with them situations too. He said, everybody ain't gonna be nice. So sometimes you gotta meet people at their level,
Mm.
right? And then other times you have to not meet them at their level because they're trying to bring you down to their level. So
And
he
you
said, you
you
got. Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
know when to go and when not to go, you know?
man, just that temperance, that having that barometer in a
Yeah.
sense, man, of when to pull the trigger, when not to. I'm like,
I,
shoot, you.
hey, Dad, I think, I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I think you've seen that in me when
Oh,
we in Arizona, you know?
bruh, can I share it?
Absolutely.
Dude, so good people. Rich and I are part of this group called Tap That Ash. Shout out to all the folks who from Tap That Ash listening in, man. When we get together, we have smoke nights, and basically we pick venues where we get a chance to smoke a cigar, chit chat it up with folks, man. Our members, our folks, and it's 4 members night. Sometimes it's open, but we get to a spot, man, and when you got and I'm gonna toot our own home. When you got some brothers that look like we got sense, we ain't coming in loud and brash. We look the part, we dress the part, we smoke the right cigars, the whole nine. It's like, so it's rare. And then I think the other part about it is, man, you and I stand out because we taller than the average folks, man. So
Yes.
automatically people are gonna be like, oh, you need some ex-basketball players or football players. I'm like, here we go with this crap. And so there's already a perception of what you appear to be. We got it so much when we were, working in schools and as teachers and administrators. But when you out there socially, I'm gonna tell you to the audience, this is what goes through our mind when you are over 6'5" and handsome and debonair from the Hyde Park, from the HP. You want to ask some questions because you want to find out what's going on. Myself, I have an understanding of this, and I'm going to try and um, placate to it as best I can, and not let it spoil my evening. So I'm going to answer a few of your questions, and I don't really particularly care sometimes about what you're doing. I was like, it's your world. My compadre over here, who we are interviewing, there's a dude, man, who came and sat down. A couple of dudes came and sat down next to us, man, and one dude just got to asking 1,000 questions. And so I could feel Rich's energy like, oh, here we go. And before I could say, hold, stop, he asked Rich a question, which is like, what do you do? Who are you? Like, why are you here? Like, I was just like, oh, stop. He don't know. Shots fired. Pow, 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 pow. And dude, he was taken aback. White dude, young. The other older white dude was there who was just like, hey, everything's cool, right? Everything. I was like, no, it's not cool because your man is over here 20 questioning everybody, man. I'm like, relax, bro. We just here to enjoy a little ash, have a little libation, and relax. And so I had never seen it that quick. I knew it was there, but I ain't never seen it that quick. It was like, wow, he just jumped on him like a rabid dog. What you doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. But it I think that character in us, I think it's molded by that area where we came up from because you got to be on swivel. You know,
Absolutely.
you got to be on swivel. I was
Now
like,
you may need to explain swivel to some of our listeners.
yeah, man. So some people call it street sense, but swivel to me is, man, being aware of your surroundings to the point of you need to see when some dude across the street is moving a certain way and angling in a direction you going. You need to catch when people are, or as you're walking along, who's in the store, who ain't in the store, who's in the car. It's like you gotta be aware of your surroundings. It's just like you can't be walking in downtown Queen Creek and Gilbert like everything's wonderful. Ain't nobody. No, 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 no. Where we come from? I remember parking my bike at Maury's, man. I had a little chain lock. I didn't have a U lock on my bike, man. And literally, dude, by no time than I had literally clicked the lock and was getting ready to go into Maury's Deli, man, to go get me a sandwich. Lady came in and said, and had the chain in her hand. She said, is this somebody's chain? I was like, it's my chain. She said, oh, somebody came and got your bike. I wasn't on swivel. I should have seen that the dudes was waiting on the corner for me to just walk into the spot. You got to be on swivel. You got to
Yes,
be
sir.
aware of your surroundings, man. So yeah, I mean yeah, that's a temperature check, bro. You know,
Absolutely.
you know.
It's a
and
second sense.
man, that's what happened with dude. I think you caught
Mm-hmm.
that second sense on dude, like, who the heck? Hey man, you interrupting the vibe. Get your swivel
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Has that got you in a situation where you're like, oh man, I'm sorry, man, I have my swivel on, I have my antennas up.
No, because once I go in, I've made a conscious and targeted decision to say what I'm gonna say because I've watched my swivel has watched their actions and how they moved in the crowd.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
when I make the determination, this shit's got to stop.
Man,
That and when it comes to me, I don't bring it to me. I just wait for it to come. You see, I sit back, I'm quiet. I just wait for it to come. And when it comes, hey man, I'm like the jizzer. I try to put it into it, man. Hey, we're in good community right now. Don't it's sort of like the elegant, narratives you give and tap that ass. It ain't about what you do. It ain't about how much money you make. We're just here in community having a good time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
don't disturb our community with this subservient talk where you're trying to figure out how far we're up under you.
Wow.
Because 9 times out of 10 we above you, like, in which we found out that
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
You know,
Younger
so
was a Younger was a low level sales dude, and I was just
yeah,
like, the dude you with is he was some mid level. I'm just like, all right, bro, you're not selling whatever your product is. We ain't trying to really hear it.
yeah.
We got that taken care of. Like, okay, thank you. Next, don't. And it's funny you say that. Don't impress me with the fact that you can go to certain golf clubs and all that stuff. Like, we can't do the same. Like, we don't have membership to that. Like, really? That's cool. I was like, you play at the PGA Scottsdale course, and like, yeah, I played that. I played the championship course. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing new. Like,
And you know what, Dan? Let's debunk the myth. This ain't about black and white.
right,
This is about anybody, and we get it more from African Americans, right?
bruh, bruh. And on that note, right there, we're gonna come right back with that one, man. Hey,
All right.
y'all tune into You Tune Hear Me Not to Hear Me with my man Rich. We'll be right back, man. Y'all hold tight. Hey man, you're right back here on Vibe AZ 24/7 with my man Rich. We're here on YouTube. Near me, not to hear me, bro. When we broke out, man, you was about to go in
Yeah,
talking
man.
about talking about an understanding of myths and misnomers and things like that. Tell me what's going on in your mind now.
So it's the concept and philosophy of the expected versus the unexpected.
Okay,
You know, the expected when we're in these situations in community with other races, it's the unexpected or the expected
okay,
because we know it's going to be a little bit of that. How we choose to handle it is Danny's decision, Rich's decision, Juan's decision if we're sitting
right, right,
in
right.
community. The unexpected is when we're sitting with brethrens, right? It's treacherous, Danny.
That's
It's
the one that
treacherous.
that's the one that catches me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it from my own kind. I'm like, really? Is this what we on today?
It's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting up here like I'm a coon or Uncle Tom or nothing. I love my people. But man, it burns me to death when I'm sitting with a new group, polished brothers, and the only angle that or the information they want to know is how did you get here? Where did you come from? What do you do? Where do you live? That's the only information that brothers want to know, because what they're trying to size you up, right?
Yeah, even in a more intentional way.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I I remember you saying that when you first moved out to the area, man. And I was telling you about guys I hang out with, that kind of stuff like that. And the first thing you were like, man, you sat back, you leaned back, and you're like, man, Danny, what's going on with them, man? What they trying to find out? What they need? You know, I don't roll like that. I was like, and I was trying to basically say, I mean, you ain't got to put your guard up, bro. You gonna be all right. I said, you will see for yourself who you need to deal with and who you don't need to deal with. I said, but
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you the people that I talk to and that are in our group with Tap That Ash and other groups, man. I was like, you ain't got to worry about that. You gonna put your guard up with that. But
No.
I watched you go through in a very methodical way about how you open up and share, and then your observations in the room. Like
Mm-hmm.
yours is serene and very quiet. I have this opposite way of going about it where when I'm into in groups, I'm gonna talk my way into it and I'm gonna figure out from the triggers of what I'm gonna say where you stand. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
just, like, hey, I'll talk to you, or I simply just I try to gauge what your intentions are by how you converse with me.
Mm-hmm.
You, on the other hand, are like a tactician. You looking at the head to the feet to the fingernails to the. I was like little details that you'll say to me later on. And man, did you know this dude? Had the wrong color leathers on his belt and the shoes and his watch. I was like, watch that. I was like, I didn't even really notice that. It's like, yeah, I don't know, Dan. Something's wrong. Like we don't need to be messing with him, man. But I was like, okay, I ain't even picked that up. That's a skill, bro.
Yeah, yeah. But let me say this, Dan. So, I know some of the brothers, I and AZ are listening. The group that you have introduced me to and brought me around, them brothers are stand-up cats, man. And these brothers are the same brothers that if we were in Chicago, these are the brothers that I would be hanging around with, you know, because they're safe. They understand about choices. They're not going to make any bad choice. And they understand at the end of the night, we got to go home.
Come on, man.
We got to go home, man. And we ain't putting no barriers in front of us to not let each one of us go home safely.
Who?
So I appreciate you for bringing me into that group, man. And I've opened up a little bit, and I'm gonna open up some more.
He said a little bit.
Yes, sir.
That's a stretch right there. Like, I just gave you a little bit. You can't have
Yes, sir.
everything. You just have a little smidgen of it. That's crazy, man. But the that's probably has served you well in the career that you have, that we both shared in our love for education, man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you and I are fortunate enough, man, to have served young people in education as, being a part of school staff, teachers, deans, administrators, and then up into the executive ranks. And you have far surpassed me in that, man. I applaud you to that, dude, because you are somebody that, man, I admire in the trajectory and the way that you had gone about it, man, because it's funny. We didn't know that about each other, but yet here we are coming from the same place, different trajectories of where we get to, and then we end up at almost at the same place, man.
Mm-hmm.
And just in our philosophy of that, man, because if you just talked to me when I was at Kenwood or Lewis, man, dude, being a teacher was the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't even. I think I remember putting in at Lewisworth in the little mini yearbook. I said I want to be a pilot. I'm trying to be an astronaut. I was so far fetched and out there. I was like, that was my whole thing. I want to get into aerospace and all that kind of stuff, man. But I found my my tribe in going into education because I felt like at the end of the day, I owed it to the folks that gave it to me
Hmm.
and saw
Hmm.
something in me, and I felt like I felt like I owed it, and I felt like I had an ability to get across to young people the things that I believe that they needed to have, but also for me to listen and learn in the way that they learn. It wasn't all about me just talking. It was like I felt like I could take an understanding of how you learn and then be able to bring about, a chance for you to grow and to, and to learn. So that's what attracted me to it. What about for you, man?
Uh, so uh, growing up, my father always had me in schools.
Okay.
My father always, he's a principal at King High School, legendary basketball school,
Shout out to the
Martin Luther
Jags.
King High School, and shout out to the Jaguars in Chicago. Ultimately, Kenwood was rough, man. If they would have had a class and party, and we would have,
Ooh,
it would have been a Harvard level class,
man,
right?
bruh.
All aspects of partying too,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
I know the brothers at Mendel, parties at Mendel would get down, but dude, we were part of
no,
your audience. We
no,
gave you what you needed.
absolutely. So man, uh middle of my sophomore year, man, Miss Yachner was notorious for kicking out
Ooh,
50 to 70 students.
ooh.
So the middle of the sophomore year, I'm sitting in division, this report card, Mr. Latman, you remember English
Oh
teacher,
man,
Mr.
I
Latman?
remember Mr. Lavin, man.
He was
Oh my
giving out
God.
report cards and shit.
He
And
straight clowned you.
hey man, next thing my father worked in the district office right under Kenwood.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was like a district superintendent. And man, I'm in division. Next thing you know, I get them whispers, man, your father walking down the hallway.
Oh.
Man, I said, he come in division, he say, come with me. I
Oh.
said, damn, dad, I got class. He say, why you worried about class now?
No.
After I got your attendance, he say, you're a perfect attendance first through fifth. After lunch, you got 60 absences. You don't go. He says, so don't worry about attendance now. I'm gonna put you somewhere where you ain't got to worry about attendance. He transferred me to King High School that day, right? And I was in class within an
Ooh.
hour. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think that's where my education, where I became a polished student, was at King High School.
Okay. Okay.
Because I was in a more so of a teacher's, it was like those teachers cared.
Okay.
And they knew you by
Okay.
name, they knew your mother, and they knew your father. Not only me, but
The
our
student
student.
body.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
just me because my father was this and that, but they treated me the same way. But I said that to set this up, but I went on ahead and graduated from college. I graduated from Auburn University, summa cum laude, whatever, that I guess that means I was at the top of the class, right? Uh,
Yeah.
with a degree in psychology, minor in criminal justice.
Okay. Okay.
So I got home, back to the shop, right? And I tell this story all the time, man. I got home. I was one of the only. I took a job as a janitor in
Yeah.
CPS. Hey man, because it's about the grind, right? I got a college degree, but man, I got to work. I got to, I can't come home and
Ooh.
sit in the house and suck up
Ooh.
the air and eat all the food, party at night, come in. But I I was think where was I? I was on 43rd, man. I was with some of my guys from high school, And man, I was involved in a drive-by where
Man,
the people they came around the corner on 43rd Street. And man, we was sitting out there, man, and man, they just opened up, man. I'm sitting on, I drove, me and you remember Fuji?
I remember Fuji.
Me and Fuji were together, man. I fell into the gutter between the car, the
Yeah.
car and the side. And man, I fell into, I can't tell you, I was smelling terror. I can't tell you what I fell into, but I was happy I was there, right?
Right. Alive to tell a story.
At that moment, I knew I wasn't gonna carry no gun. I didn't want to be around guns. I didn't want to be no FBI Secret Service agent. And that's when I came home and told my father, hey, I want to go back to school. I want to pursue education. So I went back and got a master's degree in education and got another master's degree in special ed. I got a type 75 in educational administration. Uh, and that's where my educational career, I always like working with kids, but my area was autism. So I got a master's degree in speech and language acquisition of autistic children. So I taught in the autistic world in CPS as the only Black male educator
Mm.
that serviced autistic kids for 10 years.
Mm.
So man, that's how it all that drive-by changed my man. You when you hear them bullets swifting by you and hitting that metal, hey man, I said, man, I don't want to carry no gun, man.
Hey, and on that note, we're gonna come right back, y'all, with my man Rich
Yeah.
here on YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me on Vibe AZ 24/7. We're gonna come right back. Y'all hold tight. Hey, I want to thank y'all for holding tight, man, and coming back here on YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me on Vibe AZ 24/7, man. Shout out to Don and Tay. I appreciate y'all, man, for holding it down in the background and setting up this wonderful station for us. Man, Rich,
Yes,
bro,
sir.
you you to take on and we were talking about this just before, to take on autism as your specialty, that's not something that regularly somebody basically goes into. Like, so for me, um, I enjoyed English, teaching English, and I enjoyed teaching social studies because those were the two classes for me growing up that were the hardest. Like
Hmm.
I didn't enjoy writing. I didn't enjoy, I could read and write. Shout out to Miss Bean from Kenwood, but I didn't find the joy of it until I got into college and really understood it. And then I was like, oh, this is what it is. I see why people are struggling with reading scores and stuff like that. I found my technique and love in that. And I was like, all right, that's what I want to focus on. And then it became math. So later on, but it was like, but the English and writing and reading was my focus because I felt like a lot of young people tuned out or they didn't understand the subtleties of interpretation. They didn't
Hmm.
understand how to transfer their thoughts onto the written page. What got you into autism, though, man?
Well, at Auburn University, I pledged the fraternity Phi Beta Sigma,
Okay.
and we did a lot of service projects in the rural communities. So I would find myself when I had some free time at different schools working with the autistic kids,
Mm.
cutting their hair, just sitting in there, because it was amazing to me that these kids could do things that I couldn't do.
Like
They
what?
could just stuff you see on TV. Like there was one kid, and I had a kid similar in my class. You could lay a puzzle out, 100 pieces, and when he wasn't paying attention, I could take a piece of the puzzle. He could look at it, and he knew a piece of that puzzle was missing. He wouldn't touch it.
Wow.
An hour later, I could put that piece back, put it in a box, dump it out. He would look at it. He would go right to work. separating it by color, separating the pieces by color and edges. That guy could put a 100-piece puzzle together in 40 minutes and never make a mistake as to where a piece of puzzle goes.
Huh.
So things like that interested me, and as I began to really get into it, I began to shift my educational master's degree into special education
Okay.
and really focusing on severe and profound cluster programming for autistic students
Yeah,
and
I
really
mean,
understanding speech and language, how they communicate, what makes them communicate. And it's very simple, Dan. I did a thesis on it.
okay.
The thesis rendered evidence that stated autistic children don't care anything about what you're talking about. As an
Mm.
educator, you got to get into their world to figure out what they're thinking and what they're talking about in order to be successful in communicating with them. So if it's
Mm.
about puzzles, if it's about the blueberries in a muffin, you got to understand how to build curriculum around that in order
Wow.
to engage them in educational strategies. You understand?
You know what, man? You know, in the many years that I've been in education, man, nobody's really kind of broke it down like that. Like
Yeah.
that to me is a very profound way of understanding because I've got relatives and I've got friends of mine who have children who are on the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and my my way of interacting with them is like you said, I'm trying to get into what they're thinking about and what they like and what they do and and kind of wipe away the things that become the what I call the odd behavior. That's not really odd behavior to them. That's just in the way that they process and how they go about going through things. And you're right. They don't particularly care about what you're thinking about or what's going
Yeah.
on. It's like whatever. It's like they don't have a gene that says I need to, have some kind of social moray about your life and world. That doesn't measure up to them. It's like, hey, this is my world. I got 10 Lego pieces. If I put this together in this combination, I do this and this and this and this, and then they go on to the stratosphere or something that goes so far and away, and you're just like, whoa, like how did you figure that out? Like the
Yeah.
whole concept behind, I think, Rain Man, right? Like we've seen the Dustin Hoffman movie with Tom Cruise and his ability to count cards. Like that to me is, amazing in a sense. It's like, is it that they have something that's been unlocked in their brain that we don't have as mere mortals in a sense, and they got this little extra piece that's something special that's given to them and they can go to
Mm-hmm.
that world?
Yeah. How do you teach a student that can look at the skyline of Chicago downtown for a minute, go back to his room and draw it precisely?
So what is science said about that? Like, what is that they figured out, or maybe they've not figured out yet?
Nobody's figured it out yet. They figured out that some people are savants.
Okay.
So when you see, so you just said you know a lot, some people that have children that are on the spectrum and this and
Yeah.
that. And so when you see like, oh, we're taking Rich to the game, we're taking them to the NBA game. And so when I hear parents who have children on the spectrum, I don't say anything now because I'm not the one to mess on anybody's party, right? Or how they're raising their kid. But
Right.
in my mind, I'm like, do they really want to be at the game? Is this
Hmm.
something that is that something that they like? Are they into the
Hmm.
game, or would they be happy going and looking at the Chicago River and just standing there and figuring out in their brain what they want to do with it, if that's something that they like to do, and then going home and drawing something or writing something about what they saw today, or drawing the boats that connect a bridge.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
How do bridges? You never know what they're thinking until they produce and show you, and then you begin to understand. That's what I did for 10 years until I had to get out of it because my simple skills were diminishing because I was meeting them at their level, right? Where I would have to write something and I would get mixed up between off and of.
Wow.
My diminishing, my writing and content and English grammar became very simple. And
Just in that communication with them.
yeah, because it was very simple communication. It wasn't this type of communication and dialogue with you and I, where I'm thinking about what I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, it was maybe more targeted when I was dealing with autistic kids, but it was very simplified because it wasn't a lot of words. You can't autistic children ain't gonna let you talk to them for 15 minutes because they're gonna be off in la la land thinking about what they want to think about. What you saying is irrelevant to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well,
So that's
how did that connection come back? How did you get the communication to come back from them? Because I think that's one of the I think the challenges of it is like I wanted so much to engage in a conversation with them to so I can learn more like like you and I are talking. But what you're saying and I we may have some parents on here who maybe have some children that they're fine on the spectrum or that are on the spectrum, you know, there's probably some techniques about how to draw out of them, out of those young people, what they're thinking about and what's important to them. Like I want to know that. Like I didn't know that, one of my cousins' daughter was now she's on the spectrum and now she's teaching kids on the spectrum.
right.
And that
Well,
blew my
Danny,
mind.
Danny, with that, you as the person that want to know have to be very patient because
Wow.
it may not come out from that kid for a year. It may not come out for 6 months. But one day, if it's something that they like and you've hit on it, it's gonna come out. You're gonna be able to have to connect the dots right then and there. And you'd be like, where did that come from? And you have
Uh-huh.
to understand, oh, I remember I took him here. Or we talked about this, or he did something and I asked him about that. Because with autistic children, a conversation will come out the blue. And you just got to be ready to think about, oh yeah, yes, Rich, yeah, yeah. I remember that. It's you got to think on your feet. Remember, you got to be ready to enter their world. They don't give a shit
Man.
about your world.
And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break, man. You're on YouTube to hear me, not to hear me on Vibe AZ with my man Rich. Y'all come back, man. We got some more to talk about. I hope this has been interesting to you because it definitely sure is interesting to me, man. I appreciate you. Hey, man, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me, man. Me and Rich just had a laugh off for a few minutes, man. I'm literally saying, dude, if we could create a TV show or a movie about some of the experiences that we've had in schools and in teaching, man, and like we'd have a hit. What's that? What's the TV show? Something elementary? I said, you ain't got nothing on us, man. We
Real
could
life
put
experiences, right?
real life experiences, man. Talking about that, dude, that transition from the classroom, man, going into managing adults, man. I will tell you, Rich, for myself, man, when I I left the classroom reluctantly. I left it because the money was good. It was good in administration. I didn't realize that I tried to treat it as if my classroom was just of adults and that that building was my classroom now. And what I learned quickly, man, was that this is the muck and the mire.
Hmm.
This is the but this is also where the rubber hits the road. What I am able to do in shaping the culture and the climate of that building, supporting the teachers and the staff, and then showing to my students that I genuinely care about them and want the best for them. You know, that was something for me that was um, you know, just it was eye opening. Half my career is spent in administration. The other half was spent in the classroom, and um, I think the war wounds came out more in being an administrator than it was being in a teacher. Like
Hmm.
it I can deal with adults. I don't have any problem I'm saying I can deal with kids. Adult problems over kid problems are what becomes my issue. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how do you not like kids and you're a teacher? I have literally had a teacher say that to me. I don't like kids. Then why are you in the school? Like I said, the our real life experiences, dude, it'd be some Grey's Anatomy drama, like talking about what was going on in the schools, man. It blows my mind because we are such a vital component to the society as a whole. Tell me one individual that has never been touched by a teacher, not physically, but touched, by their presence. And whether it's been negative or positive, a teacher has affected somehow every person's life that particularly in this country, but in the world. It's a vitally important job, you know.
Well, if you look at it like this, when a child comes out the womb, their mother is their first teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Their father is their teacher. Um, if they live with their grandmother, that's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Those aunts and uncles are teachers because those kids are learning from them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then everything else is an extension of going into different teaching modalities where you're looking at English, where you go when you go to the schoolhouse, that's when the teaching becomes universal and the strategies are learned from people that specialize in different curriculums. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, shit, every day you run into teachers. Teachers can be younger than you as well. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
I know you've run across some people on the golf course that are younger than you that can show you what to do, right?
Showing that I was holding the club wrong.
Yeah,
I'm holding it down here. Like, man, you got to put your finger up here, man, and keep your hand
yeah.
from turning and going out to the right. I was like, for real? I was like, let me try it. Sure enough, you're right.
So teaching is is probably the most powerful profession for me because if you look at the infrastructure of business, you look at the infrastructure of technology, everybody in those top positions, mid-level positions, low position, have taught them something,
Come on, man.
right?
So then why is it that I guess particularly in American education, why does it always feel like it's the lowest on the totem pole? Why does it feel like it's an afterthought? Why do we government wise strip away from the programs that really support kids in schools and we go to the bare minimum? I don't know if you heard this in the news, man, but someone was saying that we should just wipe out the public school system and everybody do online learning from home. It'll save us
Yeah.
a bunch of money. And I was just sitting there going, that's not a really good idea.
Well, see now, Dan, you getting into the piece of education that I don't deal with, and that's the political piece, right? And that's people who are trying to make decisions about other people who know nothing about other people.
I heard you say it, brother. You too near me not to hear me. Break it down, bro.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, and I really don't want to go into the political and the race behind the strategies of educating races, right?
Like the ESPN show. Talk your shit, Bomani. Talk your shit, Rich. Tell it.
Yeah. So
Sprinkle it.
I can't stand to see privilege talk for underprivilege,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because sometimes underprivilege knows a little bit more than privilege.
Come on now.
I've seen it.
Come on.
But if you don't understand the dialect and the language of underprivilege, you won't understand. That's what we're seeing now, you know.
Mm.
And
Mm.
and I, you know, I look at the setup of privilege versus underprivilege. And we can take this across all different races.
Okay.
The setup for privilege versus the setup for underprivilege, right? And I'm gonna make it very simple.
Okay.
There's a in any race there's a starting line.
Okay.
Who's at the top of that starting line? Is it privilege or underprivileged?
Well, it should be for everybody.
It should be
Should
for
be on.
everybody, but that's what is it typically like?
Oh, it's a privilege.
Who sets that up?
Those of those who are benefiting from the privilege. Underprivileged
Absolutely,
aren't benefiting from any of that.
absolutely,
They're subject to it.
absolutely. So there's systems and structures that have been built for 400, 500 years, which always places the privilege in a position to get to that carrot quicker. And then within building those systems and structures are also built by the privilege, to me, which keeps a ceiling on the underprivileged. Now, sometimes underprivileged can crack through that ceiling.
I'm about to say, yeah,
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
crack through it, right? We can crack through it. But when we crack through it, we got to get there. Can we bring people with us? Sometimes. But other
Man,
times we got to get through there. We got to get up there and get it ourselves and then reach back. Harriet Tubman,
come
we
on,
got to reach back and bring
come
people with
on.
us. But
But but
yeah,
but, but
so
Rich, you leaning in on something because you're starting to talk about some things that I think that we forget in the community, man, about you broke through, but what are you doing to reach back?
mm-hmm,
And then it becomes a, well, wait a minute, if I could do it, you can do it kind of attitude. Some people take, well, so then you figure it out. Then you got some people who are like, they're going to spend all their time of bringing folks through, but when they bring them through, they don't give them the support that's needed to survive in there.
mm-hmm,
Like it doesn't mean anything to bring you through. Like give me structures around me. It's just like you, even though you had to figure it out, you know these are the things that you needed. You got to surround me with the same thing so that now I can turn and do the same thing.
mm-hmm. Yeah, Dan, we this conversation is correlated with infinity, right? Because
Wow.
nobody can solve this problem. Only thing that we can do is keep pushing forward and keep creating situations where people can excel. And sometimes we got to do it. We got to do it in the Underground Railroad, right? Just
Yeah.
like me being a principal for 15 years in the city of Chicago. You couldn't tell me that I didn't have my own HR firm as a principal,
Come on, man. Come on,
right?
man.
I could hire who I wanted. You could not tell me that I didn't talk to Danny Davis's nephew and say, hey man, you studying education? I said, okay, let me know when you come back, you certified, you got your endorsement. I got a job for you. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you talking about how do you give back? When you're in a position, you earn a position. And I got my position as principal from Mr. Melvin L. Scott, who used to be my father's assistant principal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
that lets me know my father had an HR
Uh-huh.
in his school as a principal. Melvin L. Scott, who was my principal when I was working, had an HR firm who brought me in as the principal when he retired. And not only me, but several people. My father hired several people. Melva hired several people. I hired several people. So if you really look at it, there was always a core of black principals in Chicago public schools.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them, I can guarantee you reach back to hire people of color that would go get their credentials and come back and be an asset to the school because they know exactly what they teach and they walk the same hallways.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
giving back is done secretly sometimes because we got to create, just like the privileged create systems and structures, you
Mm-hmm.
better believe we create them too.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Right. You
I mean,
know?
no doubt about it. Like I can tell you the numerous times that I have, you know, your son wants to go to Morehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me get on the phone and contact, a few of my people and like, hey, I'm gonna write this letter, but this youngin needs to be there. Let's surround him. Let's make this happen. Like, and they thought, well, this isn't gonna happen. No, it happened. Like I get it. Same thing. You're right. You have this ideal of your own personal HR, and it is a system that's created, but I don't think people see that as the reaching back. Let me say it like that. Let me say it like
Mm-hmm.
that. But here's the reason why. Because it happens so, offhanded in a sense. They don't see that as like, oh, you built this building and you have people coming in from all over to come in the building and get a job. They don't see that as, hey, man, I'm in a position of power, I'm in a position of influence, and I'm going to extend back and say, hey, in this conversation I had, let me make a connection and a phone call for you. Sometimes the casualness of that for the layman people, they feel like, you're not Oprah and you're not hiring 1,000 people. Like, oh no, I don't have to be Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
I could be, Dean Davis over at Powerhouse High, and you tell me, I got to get some assistant deans. I'm gonna talk to a couple people in the neighborhood, and I get Anthony Manuel or George Montgomery, who are former college players who I know the kids and who would be great at working with young people. Yeah, let me get him a job over, not to say over somebody else who's better qualified or not qualified, but hey, but I have a feeling and an instinct about this connection for. So yeah, I'm reaching back and make that happen.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you really look at it, what's the difference between what we do in those settings and what CEOs of large major companies do? You better believe they're hiring people that they know and they trust
Come on now.
to make them shine and make the company better and make them better.
Come on now. Come on
Right.
now.
Like when I hire assistant principals, you better believe I'm hiring somebody I trust, somebody that I can entrust in the decisions they make when I'm not there, and somebody that cares about me.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
understand?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
understand?
Man,
What's
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, man, we got. I'm gonna come right back to that, man. Hey, we gonna take a quick real break. We right here on YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me with my man Rich from Hyde Park. Hey, man, on Vibe AZ 24/7. We be right back. Hey, you on YouTube hear me not to hear me, man. I'm talking with my man Rich. I was sharing off camera, and I'll share this with y'all, man, that I should have called my boy, man, when I was in Chicago. Um, Mentally, man, dude, I was going through it. Like there's a period in my career um, that I struggled mightily because I was in a role that it stifled me. You know, as an educator, I want to be in the classroom and I want to share and grow with kids, but in these roles, they had me as a dean of students or discipline or, you know, a vice principal that was dealing with discipline. And man, that all I'm dealing with is kids in trouble, kids in trouble, kids in trouble. What I end up happening is I turn my office into a classroom. You come in, no matter what your grade level was, you got your work, man. I'm teaching you while you sitting in that classroom. I was like, you need to be sitting in that classroom learning. You don't need to be in the office dealing with this. But I remember the energy that's transferred into me because of what happened in their classroom and some of the things they caused. But a lot of it was an effect of what was happening to them or they didn't understand. Could have happened from teachers, could have neighborhood, whatever was going on. But all that was being transferred into me. And dude, I couldn't find a way to release that. What I found was that I gained weight. I started to lose my hair. I'm stressed out. My wife literally telling me, I love you, but I don't like you. I don't like you in this role. And so I was saying to Rich, I said, man, dude, I should have called you because I saw the movie 12 Years a Slave, man. And I felt like after that, I came back to the school I was last working with in Chicago, man. And I had to take a mental break because I felt like I was an overseer. I was suspending and expelling kids left and right, man, just for the things that was going on. And I wasn't doing a service to them. And that has always been something that has been stuck in my craw, and I can't shake it because I know the damage that happened because of it to those young people. But and I'm sure that we got to celebrate your wins along with your losses. But I was like that's something that affects me even to this day.
Yeah.
You know, is there something like that, man? What in your career, man, that feels like I wish I could have got that accomplished. I wish I could have given a little bit more to this or
Uh, in my career, what I wish could have happened, and understand their control. These are controls that I don't control.
okay, okay,
I wish that people in the educational world, we're standing 6'7",
uh-huh,
Black.
uh-huh,
I wish that the first thing that people saw as us as educators, you would be a good dean, or are you a gym teacher? You know what? Hey, Danny, that's one of them situations where I listen and I have to challenge. And in many of them situations, first thing I say, I'm an instructional leader. I
mm,
hire deans and I hire, you know, social emotional people. And I say, if they're part of my administration team, they have administrative duties,
mm,
which allow them to be exposed to things like, how do you budget as a dean to bring in services to support students that get in trouble? Because you can't do it by yourself.
yeah, I didn't have that, bro. That
How
wasn't
do
part of it.
you, yeah, how do you, but so at times, for me, and I don't know about you, it put me in an arrogant situation where I could then go on and say, I'm an instructional leader. I wrote my master's on my thesis on speech and language acquisition of autistic children. So my focus and target was autistic children. So for you to think I'm a gym teacher and for you to think that I'm a dean because I stand 6'7" and I'm African American, man, lets me know your narrative about people that look like me and people of my stature. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. I would say it. I wouldn't care who was around, the CEO. Uh, I didn't care who it was, black, white. But when you created a narrative and you let it come out your mouth to me about that, so I kind of wish that, and there's nothing we can control. I kind of wish that people would not put people like us in a box when it comes to education.
I mean, you're talking about the black man as an educator
Yeah.
and all the misnomers that come behind it.
I mean,
They,
you just saw, I just spoke at Auburn University, right? To the
yep.
College of Education, right?
By the way,
And
that was a great talk, bro. You nailed it, man. I love it.
man, I appreciate it, Dan. And I've graduated from Auburn maybe 30 years ago.
Mhm.
But the fruits of my labor didn't happen until last week when I was
Mm,
invited back. Well, we found you and this and that. I said, well, I'm glad you guys were looking because I'm a former athlete at Auburn University that did not just live on the tenets of being a athletic student. I
mhm.
was one of the ones that was a student athlete, and I went to class
Mm,
and I graduated and I came home and served children of Chicago public schools for 34 years. And I did finish as one of the top black male educators in the city of Chicago. And I've had all these accomplishments. I didn't tell them, they told me. So they
mm.
did their research and invited me back, and I had the honor to speak to professors and college students in the College of Education that are going to be prospective teachers. And not only that, they invited me back. So, you know, uh,
What would
my
you what would you tell a young man that is black right now who wants to go into the field? What would you tell them? Like the three things that you would tell them, hey man, these are the three things I want you to do. If you want to go into this field of education, man, here's the three things you got to do. He's got to get this done.
first, I would ask who his counselor is. Now, we talking about at the college
Yeah,
level or
college
high school
level.
level.
Yeah, college
I
level.
would want to know. So it's a couple of things. What type of university are you at?
Okay.
Who's your counselor? What area of study are you want to focus in? But the most important thing I would tell African American young man is to be diversified in your field experience.
Mm,
Be diversified. Learn Caucasian coaches, learn Indian coaches, learn Hispanic coaches, learn black coaches. Because Danny, you heard me say this. When the opportunity comes, you want to be prepared to fit into that setting. You don't want to get the opportunity and then have to get prepared.
mm,
You see what I'm
mm,
saying?
mm.
So, I mean, I would tell a young African American prospective teachers to read, understand theory, understand practice, and understand adaptive techniques to teaching, strategy, to different cultures and different levels and learning styles of students. You got to understand how to teach to all of them nowadays.
Man, you said something in that because I was talking to my guy James Shepard, man, educator I kind of grew up with, man, and this thing, and we were talking about, and you said the same thing. You said, "How is it that you are going to be a teacher and teach a lesson, and you don't even know how the kids in your class learn?
Hmm.
Like, how are you going to do that?" And so I was talking to my boy Wendell yesterday, man. He said, "Dan, that's like you blowing a kiss to a woman in a room that's completely dark.
Hmm.
She don't even know you exist."
Right.
It's
Yep.
just like how do you do that? Like you tell me that you're going to do this, but you don't even know your audience. You don't know even how they process.
Hmm.
Like I think about that just being as one of the things that to just be if you're going to be a teacher, take the time out to learn who your students are,
Yeah.
how they learn. And it's not hard. There are instruments out there. There's ways to go about this, but the thing that kills me is, and this is one of the things that I learned quickly. I know the theories about the different modalities, but I had to put that into process and I had to observe it so that when I started to structure and set up my classroom or
Hmm.
how I was going to go about a certain lesson, I couldn't simply just run my mouth and start talking. I had to also learn how to address the other learners in the room so they were getting stimulated too.
Hmm.
And the here's the biggest thing, Rich. I taught my kids about the different learning modalities so they could understand and see themselves in that, and then they could see their classmates in that, so that the kid who is an auditory learner, teachers talking, and you over here whispering in their ear and talking and running their mouth, you got to remember that that's how they learn. So why don't you stop talking to them and let them focus on what's going on? Then y'all can talk later.
Hmm.
Giving arming your class with the information so that it becomes a cohesive cultural unit that's in that classroom,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah.
Like off the break, I'm like, learn your kids, learn how they learn,
They're the most important people in the building.
bro. If they're not there, we not there.
Hey man, it almost goes back to the concept of you got to figure out how to teach them. They're not gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like it's a correlation with teaching autistic children,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Somebody, I think you told me, you said, man, everybody needs an IEP.
Everybody need IEP.
An individualized education plan.
Yeah,
Everybody need a
everybody. That just ain't for special needs. That's for
yeah.
everybody, you know. Shit, carry it with you. Hey man, this is how I learn, man. It's proven. If you
Man,
do this, we gonna be all
we're
right.
gonna be all right. I won't tear up your classroom.
You're right.
Man, on that note, man, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be right back, man, here on YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me with my man Rich on Vibe AZ 24/7. Hey, want to thank y'all for coming back to YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me, man. Hey, Rich, this is gonna air right before Mother's Day.
Hmm.
And um, tell me about the impact of your mom on your life, bro.
Oh man.
Because you talk about your dad a lot, man, but your mom is real special to you, man.
Sh- Mom was the solid rock foundation of the family.
Okay.
Yeah, she did all the raising. When my father was out hustling, going to University of Chicago, getting a master's degree, then going to Northwestern to get a PhD. My mother was taking care of my brother and I.
Yeah.
My mother, very calm demeanor, never hollered, you know, just was a bohemian in nature,
Huh.
into the arts and the plays, into Africanism with drumming and just being around that culture, and Hyde Park was sort of bohemian back in the day.
Oh, it's very bohemian.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
man, my mother, world traveler, man, and always was. I kind of think I got that observation piece in reading people from my mother, because she was very good at it. 35-year educator.
Okay.
Uh, man, so mother, man, was the rock of the family, man. The
Yeah. Yeah.
rock
Yeah. Yeah.
to this end. A funny story, man. My mother and father, my mother and father split up, right?
Okay.
My father lived right down the street. My mother was here, and my father said, "Man, I have never divorced your mother. Everything that I got goes to her." Because if it wasn't for her, you and your brother would not be in the good situation that you are in now. So
Wow.
ain't no other woman getting nothing. Your mother gets everything. And sure enough, man, my father did pretty well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My mother got everything, every penny, and there was people in line.
Okay.
My mother just sat back. My mother sat back just like this. It didn't say nothing. Always kept a folder with her with the paperwork.
With the paperwork.
Never said nothing.
She wasn't
You know?
playing. She
No.
she wasn't playing.
But
Wow, man. You
love my
you
mother, man.
yeah, you made me think about my own mother, man. Um, Vancia Davis, man.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say to me, you know, about my mother's influence over my life, man. But, I will tell you personally, man, for me, man, my mom was my end all to be all. I love my father tremendously, man. We moved to Hyde Park because my parents got divorced. My father was still kind of in my life, but not as much. He came more back into my life when I got into college. And but my mother, man, she was the one that, made me have my fashion sense. And the reason why I got my fashion sense, bro, is because I knew if I wanted a toy, all I had to do was get up on Saturday morning early with her and run with her. And when she goes to the store and she do shopping and things like that, as long as I was quiet, I sat in that one little chair that was near the dressing room. I'm sitting there watching and observing. I was gonna get something. I was gonna get a toy. I was gonna, get something from it. And we were going to, we were gonna eat good. I, I don't know if remember these stores down on North Michigan Avenue, man. I Magnin, Lord and Taylor's, Bauman and Taylor's,
Hmm.
Neiman Marcus, all that kind of stuff. Saks Fifth Avenue. That was my mother's stores. And so we used to sit right there next to the old Chicago water tower where the horse and carriages are, and the I Magnin store is right there. There's a little street right there. So she used to double park, and she'd sit me behind the wheel, and she said, "I'll be right back." She said, "Don't you do nothing, don't go nowhere." Right? I sit in there and she'd be gone for hours. While I was sitting in the car, I'm watching people walking up and down that street on North Michigan Avenue, watching them
Hmm.
walk down that little side street. I'm observing how they're dressed. I'm listening to their conversation. My mother would come out and she'd grab a little something for he and I to eat. We sit there. And what we would do is we would people watch. We would talk about what were they talking about? What did you see? Why are they dressed like that? Where does it look like they're going? Does it look like they're traveling? Do you think they're here from this country? Do you think they're from somewhere else? And that's I think where my observation came from because my mother and I, that was like our pastime. We grab something to
Hmm.
eat, we sit back and we people watch. You know, um, my wife will tell you to this day, man, you know, she doesn't like shopping. She knows that I will. She said, I want to go shopping. She said, "Oh, my ears perk up." I'm like, "Oh, I'll go with you, dude. Rich, this is me. We'll go to the store she likes to go to. I think it's Black Market, White Market, Black something, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And she likes a lot of the clothing and stuff in there. And I'll tell her, I said, "Well, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do?" And I said, "Okay, I'll send her to the dressing room. Go to the dressing room. I got this." I'll tell the sales lady, "Hey, bring a sales rack over." I said, "Come on with me." And this woman is walking around with me with a sales rack, and I'm pulling stuff off the racks. I'm like, okay, I need this size. I like this. I come back and be like 25 clothes hanging up on the rack, bro. And I just go back there, roll to the thing. She's like, I'm not gonna try all that on. I said, try it on. Just try it on. And we go through a little fashion show. I was like, come on out, let me see it. Turn around. Nope, that don't look right. Or no, that looks really. I said, I'm supposed to fit tight. It's supposed to accentuate things. But you know what? I learned all that from my mother. So
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I got boys of mine that when they got an event or something like that that's going on, they'll call me, hey man, can you go shopping with me, man? I need to go, I need to get some clothes for this trip, or I got this thing I'm getting ready to go and talk at, or I got a date coming up, man. I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you, man. And
Yeah.
so my eye comes from my mother. I celebrate that, man, because I think that's something that's still with me, man, and I honor that, man. And to be honest, the woman that my wife is, in a sense, is a reflection of my mother. You don't. I think it was Freud that talks about the whole Oedipus complex and all this other stuff, and the electric complex,
Mm-hmm.
talking about you connect with the people that you're attracted to are somehow similar to your parents. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
to say necessarily that Siobhan is very similar to my mother, but she has some traits that are similar to my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Her care for people is very similar to my mother. Her observation of people, a very keen sense of observation. She sees things that I don't see. She catches stuff like you, like the stuff that I just like. I'm all out here. You like, no, damn, that ain't right. I guess I say all that, man, because I honor the fact that we have uh, mothers in our lives, spouses in our lives. Terry, talk to me about Terry, man.
Oh man, what a wonderful wife, man. Smart, even a better mother to
Okay.
my daughter Zoe. 11-year-old. She's going through hell right now. But uh, my wife is probably one of the smartest people that I know. Just so smart. It's way smarter than me. I think
Uh.
I got a beat in common sense though. It's a balance, right there.
Right.
But
We gonna get in trouble for that.
I'm so happy to I brag on my wife. My wife went to University of Michigan,
Go Blue, NCAA champions.
electrical engineering, left there, went to law school, and then specialized in patent attorney. Probably
Mm,
was only one of the only uh, in Illinois. There weren't only but about 400 patent attorneys in the whole state, and she was one of them.
wow.
And did great things in her career. She retired as a vice president of IP at Zebra Technologies.
Uh,
So man, just a pleasure to be around, man, and very sharp financially. So man, it's like the person that equals and balances me.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
bring the street approach. She brings that business approach. And
yeah.
our daughter got a little bit of both in her. I gotta kind of
Ooh.
taper her little ass
Shout
back
out to Zoe,
sometimes.
man. That
Yeah.
girl. She's a
But
combination of y'all two, man, for sure, man.
oh yeah, man. She got a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And as I sit down and I look, I'm like, damn, Terry, she thinking like you, analytical on this piece. And then
She goes, she
she
goes,
come to me like, Dad, you told me that to defend myself at all costs. I'm like, see, see,
she gonna
don't
put
let
it.
nobody talk about me. I said, okay, that's why the principal called today. Yeah, I told the principal exactly what you said. I said,
Oh, that's too much, man. That's
yeah,
too
so
much,
no,
man.
man, I got a great family. Uh, Great family, man. Supportive
Yeah.
of me, and I'm supportive of them. And we're having a great time out in with our new family in Arizona, man.
Yeah, man.
With you
Yeah,
being a
man.
part of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You and your wife, man. When you all host, man, you all do some wonderful things. That charcuterie board over New Year's Eve, man. Still, man, one of my best New Year's Eve ever, bro. Um, you two may not to hear me, audience, man. Let me tell you, my boy got on the ones and twos. Rich I say it all the time at the end of my shows. Rich is a magnificent DJ.
No, thank you.
He's a house DJ, but you got an ear, bro. And I think that was the first time. I don't know if that was the first or the second time that I met your wife. But we were there for New Year's Eve. My wife, we got some other friends of ours, Rasan and Eric Bell and Mike Jackson and all them, man. And dude, you got on ones and twos. I swear to God, I was at Sawyer's, I was at La Mirage, I was at Chickering House. I mean, you was beating it. And I remember screaming across the crowd, beat that shit, Rich. Dude, you man, bruh. And the spread of this charcuterie board, Mike Jackson took the picture of it later. Shout out to Mike, man. I didn't even know it said 2026 on it. The way it was
Yeah,
shaped with all the food and everything, man. I was just like, wow. Like this is really elegant, ornate, and very delicious, man. It was a edible art, man. Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah.
That was a great New Year's, bro.
You know, they started a business, man. They're starting to get a lot of traction creating those charcuterie boards and lot of traction, man. So shout out to my wife and Julie for taking that concept and graduating it up to a business, you know?
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. I love it. 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 Hey, man, let me ask you this, man. Other than your mom, your wife, is there a woman that's in your life, man, that has affected your who you are as a person or professionally? Somebody, you just like, let me give them some Mother's Day love, man. Who would that be?
Uh I would say my wife's mother.
Okay. Okay.
Man, just a God-fearing woman who always sees the positiveness in everybody.
Hmm.
And is always joking, always having fun. I would also say my grandmother that just passed.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
man, to be a young lady coming from Helena, Arkansas to Chicago, to getting her cosmetology
Does she own a
certificate.
salon there in Chicago?
She owned a salon on 47th and Greenwood for years. It was a pillar of the community.
Wasn't it on the corner?
It was on the corner, Alberta's Beauty Center.
Dude, I didn't know that was your grandmother's spot, bro.
Her and Alberta, they actually sold it to Little Black Pearl.
Yeah. I remember walking by that, so I did not know that, man, that was your people's spot, bro. That's what's up, man.
I spent many, many days in there. That's how I learned how to cut hair. I'm not a
Okay.
licensed barber, but I could be if I wanted to with just I don't even I just had to take a test
Well,
to
man,
this day.
maybe you could do something with this, man, with the curly wig, bro.
Oh man, we call that an opposite fade. Damn, we got to fade from the top down, not from the bottom up.
Tough. Bro, that's for real, bro. I got one barber, man. My girl Tracy, man. Ever since I've been here in Arizona, she take care of me, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, a barber's a real thing. But no, that's what's up, man. And shout out to your grandmother, man, for being that matriarch in the family.
man,
You
hard
know,
worker. Told her to 22 because she would walk home from the the uh the shop right down 47th Street.
wow.
Always had a 22 on her.
Deuce, deuce.
Yes, sir.
With the look on her face, like I wish you would.
Pearl, it fit in the palm of her hand.
Wow, wow. I bet people remember her, man.
Gangster.
I love it. I love it. Hey man, we're gonna be right back, man, on YouTube Hear Me Not to Hear Me. Y'all thank y'all for hanging in there on Vibe AZ 24/7. We will be right back. Hey man, you are back here on YouTube Hear Me Not to Hear Me, my man Richard Smith, my boy, my ace. Hey man, we touched on it a little bit in that last segment, but I might have to touch on it now for sure, man. And man, you are in a city of house DJs, or just let me just say DJs. Dude, I've never seen equipment at the level that you have. And I've seen Farley Funky Keith's equipment. I've seen Steve Sick Hurley stuff, and I've
Hmm.
seen some other people's stuff. I've even seen what's my man, Kid Capri. I've
Yeah.
seen his equipment, but dude, I ain't never seen the kind of DJ audio sound equipment like I seen. I mean, dude, that's like, you know, A&M, A&R Records studio, like serious. You are a technician
Hmm.
with your sound quality, but more than anything with your record selection, your choices. Hey, if on YouTube on YouTube to hear me, y'all hear me say after every show, man, y'all need to listen in to my boy Rich from Hyde Park, the warehouse, man. And you're still on Saturdays.
Saturdays, no, Tuesdays, Saturday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah, yeah. At 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Yep, and that's AZ time. So whatever your time zone is, y'all figure it out from there. But y'all gotta check out my boy Rich from Hyde Park. Man, where did that come from, bro? I know where the house music love comes from, but where did that ear come from to say, man, I wanna spin the ones and twos, man.
I think it came from and we gotta go back then. I think it came from my brother coming home one night from the power plant.
Shout out to your brother, man.
Yeah, he Steve Smith in Savannah, Georgia. He came home one night from the power plant the morning, and he was talking to my old man, and he said, "Dad, I went to the power plant, and I've never been to a party where the music just keeps going all
Mm,
night." You know, we were accustomed to back then. People were playing record
record in.
is take that record off, put another
Drop
record on.
drop the 45 complete.
Yeah. So he said, "Dad, I looked at, I want to get two turntables and this thing in the middle that makes the music connect."
Mm.
So Christmas, wish list. My father bought two turntables and a mixer from Radio Shack, Realistics.
The realistics.
And that was it, man. You know me, I'm observing. I'm watching my brother. He going down to imports every week, buying records, and
Yeah.
he got all his boys over. And I'm a shorty, right? Get out of here. You can't be in here. I go tell my father. Hey man, you go in there and deal with the consequences, or you can stay out here. Because if you go in there, you're gonna get whooped, and I'm not gonna help you because they told you to leave out, right?
I love your father for that, bro. They
Hey
figured out.
man. So when they would go out, I would be right back there playing with shit, and that's how I got into DJing, man. And but let me say something to you, Dan. You talked about Farley and Steve. So at the time,
Uh-huh.
they probably had the top rated equipment ever during
Uh,
their time.
okay.
Now, during my time right now, yeah, I have some of the best equipment that a DJ can have. But having the equipment and really understanding how to use it to get the impact and the sound you
Mm.
want, you have to surround yourself around people who really know it. So for the last 2 years, man, I've had the opportunity to be taken under the wing of Mike Dunn,
Mike
who's
Dunn.
a powerful DJ, man.
Yeah.
One of the best in the world, not Chicago, in
Yeah.
the world. And man, just being under his tutelage and just being able to call him and being able to go to parties with him and see how he manipulates the crowd with music, and he's a conduit of feelings because he don't play what he want to play. He plays what the crowd gives him the energy to play.
That's a different philosophy, man.
Yeah.
Because you got some DJs that just do it off, hey man, this is what I want to listen to.
No, no, Mike, man. And I'm learning so much from him. Like, I get to play with him uh, this tomorrow
Okay,
because I'll be opening up for him at the Renaissance from
okay.
8 to 10, and then he's going on from 10 to 1. And he said, do your thing, man. You know what you're doing. I listen to your radio show. You've
Yeah.
been mixing, man. Do your thing. So, no, I love DJing, man. I love, in Chicago, DJ is competitive, man.
Oh, very competitive, bro. It's like
People,
hooping.
hey, man,
It's
people
like
listening
hooping.
to the Chicago, there's a deep connection with blending
Bruh.
records.
Some people scratch. That's
Yeah.
they thing. Some people got, all these little techniques where they reverb. Ooh, some people do what are called mashups,
Mm-hmm.
where they'll play one record and then put the voice track on something else. Chicago, dude, if you can't blend one and two records together and make it succinct and make it get off the tables.
Get off the tables.
Bruh, quick, like get up.
Get
Because
up.
you messing my vibe up right now. Like, and we'll
Yeah,
literally
man.
say it. Hey man, yeah, you can't blend, bro. You got to
No,
blend.
no, you messing up the dance floor.
Yeah.
And people can't be on beat, man. You got to blend that. Hey, man. And so so I'm learning a lot of different techniques from Mike Dunn, who, man, is just a master.
Yeah.
He's just a master of mixing, man. And, you know, I'm very appreciative of that. And very appreciative of like you, Terry, my wife, the Arizona people, man, who like the music. And also, man, I want to give a shout out to Big Ken
Big
out there in
Ken.
Arizona, man. It took a while for me to get connected with him, but man, him and I talk via messenger, man, and he's taking me in a little bit. So I just want to give a shout out to Big Ken, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the industry leaders out there in Arizona in the house culture,
Yes, he is. He throws
and
that house picnic here in Arizona and Phoenix,
I
man.
got it. I gotta come talk to him to get in. You know what I'm saying?
I got to kiss the ring, man. Hold on, let me.
and he from the shy,
He from the crib. He from the
So
crib, man.
shout out to Big Kid,
You
man,
make
for
you make me
how.
think about going to Evergreen Plaza. I forget the name of the record shop, man, but it was on the lower level, man. I used to get this guy, Fat Mike. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember Fat Mike, man, but Fat Mike, man, he put out like 6 CDs, man, which is like classic house music. I raised that up, man, because I was living in DC at the time, man, and I used to bump them CDs all the time, bro. My car got broken into. Do you know what I was depressed about?
Your
I wanted,
CD.
man, I could care less about the equipment. They took my pull-out radio, they took my subwoofer out, took the amp. Why did you take my house music CDs, man? I was like, oh, I'm devastated because now I can't get that stuff. So when you came on the scene and was like, yo, man, Dan, let me shoot you some mixes. I was like, dude, you just don't know. You have saved my life, man, for listening. Because music to me, man, is I I think of the things in life that we deal with. Music to me is something that's a gift that gives back to me, that reinvigorates me. You just recently did a mix, man, on the station, man, and I got a chance to play it in my backyard, the Cochise Lounge. And listening to it, man, I clearly said, dude, you've put me in a great vibe right now because of the way that you blend the records, but you gave me a little old, you gave me a little new, but I felt like there was a storyline that was blending through this. The fact that you could blend Fella and then and then before that you were doing my group Moonchild. I was like, oh, you're killing me. I'm loving this, man. I was like, that ear has to come from somewhere, man.
Yeah. Hey man, it just comes from being around the great DJs, your Andre Hatchett, your Keith Fobbs, your Tony Hatchett's, your Mike Dunn's, your all these great, and then listening to like the Larry Levans and the
Larry
David
Levan.
Mancusos and
Yeah.
the Joe Clasells and all these great DJs. You got to study their style and their techniques too, and then you got to craft your own.
So
So
what would you say is your style, man? What so people understand, man, and want to tune in. What would you say your style is, man?
I think my style is a little bit of the old with the new. Depending. Now, if I'm in Chicago, I'm beating classics.
Okay. Okay.
And if the crowd is hyped, I'm beating it all night. But if I may bring in some new stuff. For
Okay.
Arizona, I play a lot more new stuff, and then I tweak in the old stuff.
Some of the classics.
Yeah. So it depends on like on the radio. And man, shout out to Big Don and Chris, man, for even putting us on, with
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Don for Vibe AZ, man. But you know, for the radio, Mike Dunn told me this because he listened to the radio. And a shout out to my boy Nick, my DJ partner, man, because we come up 30 years and we've been kicking it. We still DJ partner. But Mike Dunn told me, man, he said, when you're playing on the radio, you're not playing for your boys.
Mm.
You playing for you don't know who's listening to you. So you got to use different techniques. You got to play what people know and what they've heard
Mm.
in order for them to stay engaged.
Mm.
And then he said he calls it sandwiching. So you play a cut that everybody knows, and then you come in with a cut that is hot, but nobody knows. And then you come out of that cut with something that everybody knows. So
Okay.
you keep them going. So yeah, you hear me in Arizona doing a lot of sandwiching on the
Okay.
radio out there
I
where
didn't know that was a term, but I like that. Sandwiching. I
yeah,
like that. I
yeah,
like that.
I'm playing a Fela, and then I'm playing something new, and then I'm playing something, something that everybody understands. Again, I may go two songs with somebody everybody likes, and then I may throw in something new.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you got a whole little rhythm beside it. Hey man, Rich, I cannot thank you enough, man, for just taking the time, bro. I feel like these two shows, man, they went by too quick, man. We could sit here and chip chop it about so many things, man. I just thank you for sharing with man my audience about some of the things I wrote down, talking about the swivel and awareness, talking about your journey through education, autism, about teachers and the importance of it, talking about breaking through the ceiling and bringing that help and the black man as an educator. Ooh, bruh. Not only what school you came from, your counseling, and what do you want to study, man? Something like that, man. I love the fact that your tribute to your mom and to your wife, man. Shout out to Terry, man, and your daughter Zoe. Shout out to my wife Siobhan for listening in, and her mama
Yeah, shout
Irma.
out to Siobhan, man. So
Yeah, man.
calm with her demeanor, man. So nice.
Dude, well, she's a wonderful, wonderful woman, man, and got a travel business. After she
That's
retired,
her.
she started a travel business, man. So
Yeah.
it is amazing, man. But dude, your love of music, man, particularly just in house music. And thank you, man, for just blessing me, man, with just some great mixes, man. I drive a lot, and so I'm on the road, man, and sometimes, man, I want to disappear into a world that people create, and I love what you create. I got another DJ man I listen to, man. It's the cool DJ Marv. I turned you on to him. Another kind of cat, man, that just takes you all over the place, man. But dude, I cannot thank you enough, man. I hope you come back on the show, man, and share some more with us, man. Anything you want to say, man, before we break out, bro?
No, man. I just want to say, Dan, thank you for the opportunity, man. Thank you for welcoming us to AZ, man. My family, my wife, my daughter, and Tucker, the AZ, man. And hey, man, I'm really appreciative of you helping out Terry when I was out of town. You know, I was in Chicago, and man, you know, the night I was leaving, 3 in the morning, the damn alarm goes off. And man, we called you, man. You came over there, man, with the big dually and with the ladders, and man, you helped my family out, man. You
Man,
know, it takes a village, you know what I mean?
hey man, we Hyde Park brothers, man.
Yeah,
We them
yeah.
Hyde
So
Park boys. Shout out to all our crew from Hyde Park, man. My
yeah,
boy Al Brazil, Mark Hodo,
yeah.
Chris uh
Stinson,
Stinson. Yeah, man. Dude.
the
All of
HP crew, yeah,
HP. Joe Jacobs. I know
yeah,
he out there in DC listening in, man. Dude. Ain't nothing like HP, bro. Nothing like it, man. Hey, you have tuned in to YouTube Knew Me Not to Hear Me, man. I gotta say again, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of the folks that are listening in from all over. Man, my cousin Bert Peck out there in Indiana, man. Thank you so much, man, for listening in every time to the show. My man Mike Bradley, my man Damon, my sisters Kim, Carol, and Edith, man. Chicago's finest, bro. My love for K Swiss comes from my sister Carol.
yeah,
We was getting right there in Hyde Park, bro, at the little tennis shop, man. So yeah,
yeah.
man, just I want to thank everybody, man, for listening in, man. Definitely to Tay and Don for putting us on, man. And listen, we'll be back again soon. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.